Today we are in our third chapter of traveling around Europe. We visited Ireland and France, and if you look around, look at the flag, and look at the ancient architecture, we are going to Greece today. Okay, what kind of country is Greece? Well, Greece is primarily known for ancient Greece, right? It's known as the birthplace of civilization. It's just very, very old compared to all other European countries, and it has a lot of ancient contributions to art and philosophy and literature from people like Plato and Aristotle to literature that we're going to be looking at today. They are just very, very old, and they are known as the center and the start of most Western civilization and culture. Yeah, so from epic poetry to tragic dramas, they work not only to show moral and philosophical insights, but to just present a very profound understanding of life, of humans, of the divine, and it has a lot of aspects of Greek mythology and religion that is unique and cannot be seen in a lot of the modern writings we see today. Yeah, so I did tell you a bit about where we're going today. I did tell you that we are going a bit south from France, and it was Greece. Okay, so let's look at the literary destinations. We're going to be looking at Iliad, the Odyssey, and then Medea, and then the Argonautica. Again, the pronunciations might be wrong. Please pardon me for that. Now, what you must notice is these are all BCE. That is before Christ. That is so compared to the writing that we were looking at in Ireland and France from like the 1500s, the 1400s. This is a full 1500 years, and then like in case of Iliad and the Odyssey, 800 years even before that. This is like a crazy amount of time that has passed, and that much literary progress occurred for literature like that. But these just have the kind of insight and human understanding that not I don't think most modern literature just cannot match. Yeah, so let's look into it immediately. We're going to be looking at Homer, Euripides, and Apollonius of Rhodes, and these are all ancient Greek poets and tragedians, and yeah, I really can't tell you much about them because I want to tell you a lot as I am explaining the literature, so let's just dive right in. Let's look at Iliad from Homer. So Homer is attributed as writing one of the oldest works of Western literature, the Iliad and the Odyssey, and so he lived significantly before us. He lived in 8th century BCE, and this epic poem is about the Trojan War, and it focuses on the rage of Achilles, whose quarrel with King Agamemnon sets the stage for the story. And it has vivid depictions of battle, of honor and loss. It's kind of like the Three Musketeers, but significantly older. Homer captures the brutality and humanity of war. It's a very strong encounter between Achilles and King Priam, and they kind of mourn their respective losses. They kind of feel the costs of their vengeance and the kind of ambition that they were driven by, and it ends with the potential of reconciliation. It's a very, very beautiful piece of writing, and this is an epic poem, and epic poems are poems that are really, really long. This is, I believe, like 500, 600 pages if you put it in regular print, and it's very, very beautiful. It's just lovely writing that most writers do read before they actually go on to their writers, and famous philosophers, famous writers, all influenced by Homer. This is a must-read for all literary jobs. Yeah, a famous quote is, "No man escapes his fate, neither brave nor cowardly. But now go home and attend to your own works, the loom and the spindle, and tell the servants to set about their tasks. Where is the work of men, of all the Trojan men, and mine above all the others?" And this is a very vivid depiction of the kind of historical context and the regional context, because this was set in Greece in the Trojan War. But it also talks about universal themes of bravery, of life, of loyalty, and of honor. And I think this is a theme that we see in all these masterpieces. It is set in its unique historical and regional context, but it's also talking about a universal theme that even we as modern writers, like fully 3,000 years after this was written, can still connect to, and that is just very, very beautiful. Oh yeah, and also because this was translated from Greek, obviously we don't have the same kind of meters, the same kind of rhymes that Homer used, and that is kind of sad. So I do actually think that the reason lots of American scholars will learn Greek, sorry, will learn Greek is to read these texts like this fully without having to look at the translated version and kind of having to see like all the words that is associated with the Greek for each one. When you learn Greek, you can fully appreciate the depth and the brilliance in these works. And I think it's the same for really all kinds of writing. If you learn French, you're gonna better be able to understand Les Miserables, for example. Yeah, a similar work is the Odyssey. This is also attributed to the Homer, and it's a companion epic, an epic that goes together, and it recounts the journey of Odysseus. He is a hero from and his attempt to return home after the Trojan War. And yeah, if you remember Ulysses that James Joyce wrote, I told you that he was influenced by Odyssey. This is the very Odyssey we're talking about. And so just by that we know, oh wait, a person that wrote in the 8th century BCE can still significantly impact people who write in the 1800s, in the 1900s, and even the 21st century writers. Yeah, the Odyssey's journey is full of challenges, and he encounters the Cyclops and Polyphemus, and he has to go through the Sirens, and he has to spend time with the Sorceress Circle. I think Cersei. But these episodes continue to show his strength, his perseverance, and his loyalty to his home. And a famous quote that captures all this is, Cyclops, you ask my honorable name, and I will tell it. You must give the gift you promised me of hospitality. My name is Nobody. Mother, father, and friends, everybody calls me Nobody. That is what I said, and he answered me with his pitiless heart, Nobody. I will eat nobody, last of all his friends. I'll eat the others first. That is my gift to you. Yeah, so this is part of his encounter with the Cyclops, and he says his name is Nobody, so that the Cyclops doesn't remember his name. And then I don't want to spoil this because this is like the most entertaining, one of the most entertaining parts of the book, and I definitely think you should read through it. You should watch a movie. There are many adaptations, many films and movies and writings about this, and the Cyclops is my favorite part of the writing. And yeah, it definitely exemplifies Odyssey's like daring, his cleverness, and the Greek value of using intellect and your wits to overcome obstacles that you're faced with. Okay, let's move on to Euripides. We're going to be looking at Medea. So Medea is a Greek drama written in 431 BCE, and this is a tragedy that tells the story of Medea, who is a powerful sorceress and who sacrificed everything for her husband, Jason. But Jason eventually betrays her for another woman, and he marries another woman. And Euripides, she deals with betrayal, revenge, and the marginalization of women that was in a patriarchal society. And Medea's defiance and ultimate revenge. I don't want to spoil this. If you are going to end up reading this, skip over this part. But she ends up killing Jason's bride, her father, and her own children. And this is a very complex and controversial figure in Greek literature because this revenge was quite something. And in a powerful monologue, she says, I was a stranger in this land, and I left my home to come to Greece with you, leaving my father and my people to live with you and bear your children. And now you are putting me aside, the woman who helped you achieve everything. I am wronged, and yet you will not defend me, but I will not be silent. I will make you suffer. And, it's a question of whether this is really the right thing to do. If your husband or if your wife betrayed you, are you allowed to? Do you have the privilege to have execute such a revenge that you kill all his most precious people? And yeah, she is a very controversial figure. But through Medea, Euripides kind of challenges the societal norms of injustice and betrayal, because I think in a lot of cases, people like to say that, oh, even if people do bad things to you, you're supposed to kind of meekly accept it, and you can't be like that person. You have to be different. You have to kind of stay put. You have to be calm. That's kind of the virtue that we think about today, and what kind of, I believe, ruled a lot of Western civilization. But Euripides kind of challenges that and says, well, no, maybe executing revenge, maybe telling them that they did something wrong, showing them through your actions, through very active actions like this, is possibly another way to go by it. And I can't say whether it's right or wrong, but it's definitely a perspective to imagine again. And the writing, again, is very, very beautiful. It is probably a lot more beautiful in Greek in its original language, but the English translations made is done by really, really good translators, and it is definitely worth reading. Okay, let's look at the Argonautica by Apollonius. Apollonius from Rhodes, I believe. So this is a Hellenistic epic from the 3rd century BCE, so we've become closer and closer to to AC, and it recounts the quest of Jason and the Argonauts to retrieve the Golden Fleece, and it blends adventure, heroism, and romance into a very, very beautiful work. It includes encounters with harpies and sirens and hostile kings. All these figures of Greek mythology are all present in this work also. But unlike the Homer's epics, the Argonautica emphasizes internal struggles and the emotional kind of complexities and dynamics of each of its characters, and her and her love for Jason and her ultimate betrayal, right? And what's really interesting here is that Medea, who we saw from the last book, is also present here. She is a pivotal character, not as important as Jason, but she's the daughter of King Aeetes of Colchis, and who guards the Golden Fleece. And when Jason arrives, Medea falls in love with her. Okay, now let's look at the Argonautica by Apollonius from Rhodes. And this is really interesting because it deals with the same kind of story with Medea, but except that it's kind of a background story because it talks about Jason, Medea's husband, and his journey to retrieve the Golden Fleece and how he meets Medea. So it's basically he goes to the king of Aeetes of Colchis, who is guarding the Golden Fleece, and the daughter of this king is Medea, and when Jason arrives, Medea falls in love with him, and yeah, it's her magic and her power that is crucial to Jason's success, and this is kind of why Medea later on says, well, I helped him do everything. You know, this quote earlier on, she says, I am the woman who helped you achieve everything, but I am wrong because Jason eventually betrays her, right? And it focuses more on the emotional kind of depths of the characters more than Homer's Iliad or Odysseys, but it's also a Hellenistic epic, so it's an epic poem, just like Homer, and it talks about Jason's encounters with harpies and sirens and hostile kings, kind of like the Greek mythological figures that are existent in Homer. So I think Apollonius must have been impacted both by Homer and Euripides as he was writing this, or maybe it's because of the historical and cultural context they were in is so similar. But yeah, these works all kind of share different themes of heroism and Greek mythology and human emotions and destiny. It is very, very beautiful. So a quote from here is, "Friends, we are the ones chosen by fate, and we must set aside all fear, for a great task lies before us. The journey will be hard, but we are strong, and we have the gods on our side. Let us take courage and sail forward, for the glory of our deeds will live forever." And I think, again, this is the kind of like loyalty and like honor that you can't see in a lot of modern literature. It just isn't dealt with the same degree because we don't have, adventures and knights and and people going on quests for other people. But it's a beautiful kind of adventure and uniquely Greek idea that is very beautiful to look at. Okay, now let's look at some other writers. Here are some other writers you can look at. We have Sophocles, Aeschylus, and Hesiod. I am so sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I did look it up, but I have forgotten it. But they're all known for very unique works. Sophocles is known for Oedipus Rex, Antigone, and Electra. This is a must-read for all American high schools, I believe. And yeah, the other two writers are known for Theogony and Workandays, and for Midias Bound. Oh, sorry, the Oresteia trilogy and for Midias Bound. Yeah, I hope that helped you a little bit in kind of navigating Greek literature. I think it was this presentation, this part of the program was the hardest to make because Greek literature, especially ancient Greek literature, is just kind of far away from us. That is, it's just hard to understand it. It's hard to like kind of get closer to it. It's very very old and kind of it. I first felt like only like really smart scholars, ever read those kind of works, but it kind of deals with the same ideas, right? The same themes of life and loyalty and what it means to really live and your emotion, your losses, but your life in the end through all that. And it's something that we again can reflect as people living in the 21st century. It's about love, it's about honor, it's about justice, and it's about identity. It's about you. It's about you and your life. And that's something that will, always remain a popular topic, no matter how far we go along the line of technology and literature and style. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me in this journey through literary legacies of ancient Greece. Yeah, and I hope you've gained a deeper appreciation for these monumental works and you feel motivated to look more into Greek literature. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.